The Asia Cup Super Fours encounters culminate with the India versus Bangladesh encounter on September 15th. It is a dead rubber, and because India have qualified for the final and Bangladesh are eliminated, this match has very little consequence when you have to look at the Asia Cup. But when you have to look at the Indian team, there is never a dull moment, because this match could see the two terms that have been used regularly when you look at the build-up to the World Cup: workload management and player rotation. How many changes will the Indian cricket team make? Are they going to make any changes? This is a very difficult predicted 11 that we can make here, because Paras Mamre, during the press conference today that was held in that optional training session, he said that there is a chance for some players to feature. Looking at the team, looking at the dynamics, looking at the composition, the requirements, the prerequisites, maybe there might be one or two changes, maybe there might be no changes. All that will be decided at the time of the toss when Rohit Sharma goes out. Now, will the seniors rest? Will there be many players resting for this? Because today in the Pakistan-Sri Lanka match, we saw 5 changes in the Pakistan team. Now, that was because of injury. That is the main reason. But for India, whether they want to preserve their players, whether they want them to all play, that will be a difficult proposition. So, India versus Bangladesh Super Fours match is already a dead rubber. India might make changes in the playing 11. India already in the final. Might. This is just an assumption that India might make changes, and even Paras Mamre, the bowling coach, was open to the suggestion that maybe there is a chance for 1 or 2 players. Now, potentially, where could the changes happen? Maybe mostly in the bowling. Bumrah and Siraj might be rested. Maybe game time for Shami and Prasidh. Could it be time for Sky or Tilak? That is the conundrum that everybody will have to answer here, because playing Sky, playing Tilak, and or even playing Shreyas Iyer, who is kind of recovering from his back spasm, could be an indication. Because remember, Iyer suffered that back spasm on the eve of the game against Sri Lanka, and that is why, against Pakistan, sorry, and that is why he had to be rested. KL Rahul came in, and boy did he perform. Now, at this point in time, it's very important to know that Iyer batted 100% in the optional practice session today, and that's why he could slot back in tomorrow for the game against Bangladesh. Now, it is a very difficult task to predict what might be the 11, because we don't know how many players are going to be rested. Will there be any resting or rotation? A dead rubber, it kind of makes sense. So, remember, don't hold this out against me if I get the playing 11 wrong. It could be way off the mark, it could be spot on. It's a very 50-50 kind of a team that is there at this point in time. So, in an ideal world, if you have to look at it, this is the predicted 11 that we assume, looking at the player management, player rotation bit and all. Now, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli ideally should not be a debating point. But will one of the seniors take a rest for this game? Because remember, the turnaround time from this game and also until the 17th is not much, just a day in between, and then you play the final at the same venue. Now, will Rohit or Virat rest? Common sense thinking, in an ideal world like this, maybe both of them will not rest. The major question is your number 4 and number 5. Now remember, if Shreyas Iyer is batting well, he could slot back in. Iyer in, no place for Sky. Unfortunate, because remember, Sky was there as a backup, but then they persisted with Rahul and Ishan Kishan. Now Rahul could slot back to number 5. He is the only designated keeper. Remember, he has been keeping for 2 games. Ishan Kishan was in the outfield. So, with Ishan Kishan not getting that much of a chance, remember, he did play well in Palakele. He did have a decentish knock in the game against Sri Lanka. But when it comes to keeping and all these kind of things, if Iyer is in, you cannot drop Rahul. Because KL Rahul has established himself, and now you are giving him game time until the World Cup. Now remember, there are only 5 games left. So, unfortunately, Ishan Kishan might have to sit out. So, KL Rahul slots in. Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Shardul Thakur. Maybe depending upon the pitch, if you're playing in that same pitch that where India-Sri Lanka happened, then maybe Shardul goes out and Aksar remains. That might be the change, but this is depending upon which pitch they will play. Then Kuldeep Yadav. Now the two changes might happen if you want to rest and rotate your bowlers. Remember, Jasprit Bumrah and you look at it, Mohammad Siraj, they have both bowled about 12 to 13 overs in these two games that's been there. Shami, in particular, Shami was there when Bumrah was rested. Maybe in this India-Bangladesh encounter, you may want to rest Bumrah. So that's why Shami comes in. If Siraj is to be rested, then Prasidh comes in. As simple as that, the straight swap. Now, where is the place for the likes of Tilak Verma and Surya Kumar Yadav? Unfortunately, there is no place, because it will mean if you have to accommodate Tilak and Surya, one or two of the seniors has to sit out. Now, who are those seniors who will sit out? We don't know. Hardik Pandya, will he sit out? But then that will disturb the entire team composition then. Because Hardik Pandya's presence ensures bowling stability and batting stability. If you leave out Hardik Pandya, then the team composition is in disarray. What do you do then? Where can Tilak fit in? Maybe at 4, but then you're taking a big risk then, because if Shreyas Iyer is fit, you would want to give him game time. And that is why Shreyas Iyer might slot in. If he's not fit, then maybe they will persist with Ishan Kishan. Can Tilak get a game? Very unlikely. Although there is a chance that Paras Mamre stated. Surya Kumar Yadav, maybe yet again it will be difficult, because if Ishan Kishan is left out and if Shreyas Iyer is fit, where will you get in Sky? Where will you get in Tilak Verma? At all probability, if you look at it, India want to maintain the momentum, and that is why max to max 2 or 3 changes. It won't be like the Pakistan situation where we'll make 5 to 6 changes. It will disturb the team composition. It will just throw everything awry. You remember the game against Hong Kong in the 2022 Asia Cup. Some players were rested, but then they lost momentum. India will not be wanting to do such a thing. So, at max, the bowling might have some changes. That's also condition based and workload management. In the batting, perhaps you may not make that many changes. Tough luck on Sky, tough luck on Tilak Verma, but where will you slot them? Some seniors will have to sit out in that case then. Will India take that risk? Just before the final, that too. Very tricky thing. Let me again say, this is just a predicted assumption of an 11. Things could change. I might be totally wrong, I might be spot on, I might be 50-50. But because of the workload management and because of teams wanting to rotate, we don't know which bowlers might get that rotation, which batsman could be rotated, who is fit totally. It will all depend on the toss. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.